Right now, U.S. investigators have one big question. How did two float planes carrying tourists from a cruise ship collide in midair near a popular sightseeing spot in Alaska? The crash has claimed several lives, and a major investigation is now underway. We're going to begin our coverage with Michael Serapio here in studio this morning. What has happened, Michael, near off Alaska?
Well, this midair collision, Heather, it took place around 1 p.m. local time yesterday. As you say, this collision involving two float planes while they were flying. Now, one of them was a de Havilland Otter that was carrying 11 passengers. The other, a de Havilland Beaver, that was carrying 3 of the 4 passengers who were killed in the collision. The people on board those planes, mainly tourists who were part of an Alaskan cruise who had signed up for a sightseeing tour. And now we want to switch over to a map here because the collision happened just outside of Ketchikan, and that is a town that faces what is known as Alaska's Inside Passage. Again, if we can pull up that map, because we want to show you where Ketchikan is as that collision happened some 16 kilometers outside the town itself. Weather conditions in the area at the time indicated overcast skies with a steady wind. It is not known whether those conditions played any factor. What we can say is that tragically 4 people are dead today. 2 people are still missing in the waters around where the collision happened. 10 people being treated in hospital. Many of those rescued being fished out of the water by local volunteers who were quick to help in the search effort. Now, again, 2 people are missing, but the search for them was suspended as nightfall happened. The search, we are told, will continue at first light today, Heather, and people on the ground will also be waiting for the team of investigators from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board. A team is expected to arrive in Ketchikan later this afternoon, local time, Heather.
So we're hearing a little bit about the planes involved and one of the plane companies, Taquan, the bigger plane involved in all of this, a statement from that company. But also, these were passengers on a Princess cruise, Michael, that sailed out of Vancouver on Saturday. What are we hearing as far as that part of the story?
Well, we have heard from Princess Cruises. As you say, they operate the ship on which the passengers were on board, the Royal Princess. This is the statement that we have from Princess Cruises. Our thoughts, they say, and prayers are with those who lost their lives and the families of those impacted by today's accident. Princess Cruises is extending its full support to traveling companions of the guests involved. Now, from what we have seen in reports, passengers were informed of the collision. The expectation was that cruise ship would be arriving in Anchorage by this Saturday. No word yet if there are any delays. Also, no word yet as to whether or not any Canadians were on board that cruise ship. As you say, it departed from Vancouver, but all of this we are tracking for you this morning, Heather.
Global Affairs did not respond to CBC's request, but we'll put in a renewed request this morning, Michael, and await further details from them. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Michael Serapio, as we begin things there. Now, as Michael mentioned, there was a tremendous local response. The Ketchikan Volunteer Rescue Squad, one of the groups that responded to the emergency, and they suspended rescue operations as of 10 p.m. local. They will resume at 6 o'clock local this morning, so that is 10 o'clock Eastern for us. Jerry Kiefer is with the Ketchikan Volunteer Rescue Squad. He is in Ketchikan and on the phone with me this morning. Mr. Kiefer, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You've been up all night, sir, I would imagine?
It's been a fairly late night, yes.
I can so totally understand it. Thank you for giving us some time because we're very interested in this story, obviously. I was just mentioning, sir, as you heard, that the search is going to resume at first light, so 6 o'clock local for you. What's the plan for today?
We're going to have a ground team respond back to the debris field, and we're going to be doing some maritime operations along the shoreline and at the location where the floats of the aircraft are located.
And how many people, how many big pieces of equipment, airplanes, that kind of thing, helicopters, what kind of resources are going to be involved today, do you know?
As we've pre-staged our mobile communication center to a log landing that's near the scene of the accident, and we'll be utilizing our 26-foot fast rescue boat to support the ground teams in that area.
Okay. As you mentioned, you're going to go out to that debris field, and I know yesterday you already attended that scene. Can you describe what you encountered when you arrived there at the crash site, sir?
When we first arrived, we located the the floats of the aircraft, and a bit of debris from that aircraft was near the shoreline in the mouth of a creek close to the shore. And then we had some floating debris was initially spotted offshore, and then after aerial reconnaissance of the area, located more debris back into the tree line as much as 500 feet off the shoreline.
And what did that debris field look like to you? What might have happened? Could you gain any information just from what it looked like?
The debris field of approximately 1,000 feet by 2,600 feet was made up of aircraft, parts of the aircraft, items that were in the aircraft. It appeared to look like the aircraft had come apart at altitude, and there was really a portion that was found the tail, major portion of the fuselage, but it was scattered over a vast area.
That's a debris that's obviously going to be key for the investigation, which is going to start today. I'm wondering, we know many people lost their lives and many more were injured. When you arrived there, did you recover bodies in the water? Did you find some of the injured? Our
boat crews assisted in the recovery of 3 located in the water at the site of the Beaver aircraft, and medical crews treated 4 patients from the Otter location. More patients had been taken off of the beach, recovered from the beach, and transported to Ketchikan with, I believe, with one of the cruise lines, the cruise ship, smaller cruise vessels in the area operated by Allen Marine.
Did they give you any indication, any of those people who were injured, what might have happened in the planes?
At this time, anything is speculation. We don't really know. It's only assumed that there was a midair collision. The wreckage of the Beaver is consistent with an aircraft coming apart at altitude, but anything is just speculation at this point.
Okay. Mr. Kiefer, I thank you very much for the time this morning. As we begin our coverage, we'll be back in touch on this, of course, and again, to bring you up to date. The search resuming at 6 o'clock local, so that's 10 o'clock Eastern, for the 2 people who are missing. And we also know that there's going to be a National Transportation Safety Board team leaving from Washington, flying out from Reagan Airport, and they're going to be leaving from Hangar 6 at that airport at 8 o'clock Eastern this morning. We expect to have a live briefing from them, which we'll look in on just before the team departs to begin that investigation in earnest off Ketchikan. More on that to come this morning.